I'm Michaela Weaver. I'm Chief Executive and founder of The Alcohol Coach. And as the weeks unfold and I get to talk to you and you get to know me and hopefully I get to know you as well, I will be sharing with you inspiration, hope, joy, a vision and a view of a future where alcohol problems are not dragging you down, the normalization of the problems that alcohol causes for women like me, maybe a woman like you, who is a strong, intelligent, capable, highly successful, competent woman. You may be a lawyer, a doctor, a realtor. You may be a teacher, a nurse. You may be a retired any one of those things and be thinking, what is wrong with me? I can do all this stuff in life. I've achieved. I get up and I do. And yet, there's this thing called alcohol, which over the years has slowly infiltrated your life to the point where it's infiltrated almost every aspect. And that's what we're here to help inspire a way through, a route out, should you wish to take it, and also the normalization of this problem so that you understand very, very clearly that the problem is not with you. The problem lies in all kinds of other places, which I will go into over the weeks in these videos and as I'm talking to you. But the problem does not lie with you. And I'm going to explain, so tune in to these regular weekly videos and tune in. I will be explaining and revealing and unpicking layer by layer to show you the world within the social secret, how amazing and wonderful and enlightening and freeing it actually is. When we wake up, literally, to all of the negatives of alcohol, and then beyond that, dive into all the positives of it not being the problem that it is in life. One of the main reasons that successful women come to me as a client is because alcohol is affecting their relationships. So I thought it would be a really good place to kick off talking to you by just diving in and exploring some of that, because if that is you, then it will be wrecking your life. It will be making you feel so horrendous that words defy. And so that is why I want to dive in and address this. I will be coming back to this point. Alcohol is the social drug, in theory, so we're led to believe. And therefore, socializing and social lives without alcohol is something that particularly when we're stuck in the alcohol trap, we cannot imagine life without. And so relationships, both relationships with friends, family, and particularly the closest loved ones as well, all of that is affected by alcohol. And so if you're in a place where you're unhappy about it, you're also in all likelihood in a place where you're concerned about, well, how can I ever function without it? My relationship kind of revolves around it, although it's also being wrecked by it. Maybe one of the things for you. So I'm going to focus in on now the most significant relationships in your life. Those are the main reasons that clients come to me. So women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, where they've been drinking for 2, maybe 3 decades, and it's been a problem for maybe 5 to 10 years, not decades, years, and you're at that point where there's some kind of gnawing realization that this is actually a problem. It's not just an effect of this fun social thing, and this is just what happens. So we go out, we have a good time, and then, there's this little downside where I turn into an absolute nightmare, say things I didn't mean to say, hurt the people I love, and wake up feeling absolutely racked with guilt and shame and inauthenticity. It's not just that. It's the fact that these people, we're now seeing the repercussions of that, because what happens is these people then begin to distance themselves. The teenagers who leave the table straight after dinner because mum's getting stuck into the wine. The partner who leaves the lounge at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, the sitting room. The man who doesn't want to sit by the pool with you because he knows you're going to be stuck into the bubbly. All of the above. The grown-up children who don't want your grandchildren to come and stay with you. You're not having a sleepover at nannies, grannies, whatever you're called. That's the reality, and maybe it's the reality for you. And if it is, if you have a niggling feeling that any of this is, even at the early stages of what I'm talking to you about now, I want you to know that it is not your fault, and that it is enormously, completely solvable. You see, alcohol causes fear. It causes fear of succeeding. Gosh, if I actually give up, it's nothing to give up, but we say that. If I were to give up drinking, my life would be over. So there's a fear of success. That might be exaggeration, but you get the point. There's a fear of success. But there's also an enormous fear of failure, because in all likelihood, you'll be watching this, you'll be watching other videos, maybe you'll be Googling for, I'm a highly successful woman, how do I stop this? My relationships are being ruined, what do I do? So you'll be Googling and looking for answers to the problem, because you'll know it's there. And so highly successful women fall into the trap of alcohol. We're socially conditioned from birth to consume this highly addictive drug, because a drug it is. And if you're at that point where it's beginning to affect your relationships, or maybe it has, and you're at a crisis point, then do know that it's not your fault. You may think that when you've been drinking, your inhibitions go and the truth comes out. The deep niggling truths of the things that you were thinking and have been thinking for some time. Or maybe you just are embarrassing. Maybe you just stop making any sense and your family members just don't want you around. That's hard. Because when you wake up the next day and are your full self, albeit racked with anxiety and guilt and shame, that is not who you are. So you don't understand it. You don't understand why they don't want to know you. Because that's not who you are. And that is the truth. It is not who you are. So in that you can celebrate and revel and go and skip outside. That is not who you are. But what alcohol does is, after we've consumed, and it does loads, and I will share all this with you in future videos, but in terms of the relationship issues, what it does is it shuts down the logical, rational, emotional regulation part of our brain. I don't know if you know that I'm a biochemical scientist, a master's level coach, various other things. That's why I'm here talking to you. I also was addicted to alcohol, and you can probably tell from what I'm telling you that I have been exactly where I'm talking right now. So alcohol shuts down that part of our brain, of your brain, the emotional regulation. Now, women drink for different reasons than men, and I will come into that again. But we are emotional beings. And we need it regulated. Imagine living in a society where there were no regulations, no rules, no social norms. It would be chaos. And that is you when you're drunk. That is you after a couple of glasses of wine. Emotional chaos. But that's not you. And nor is it any kind of demons coming out. Please don't go down that road. It's not you without inhibitions. It's you under the influence of a psychoactive, it affects our brains, drug. And it closes down our emotional regulatory capacity, which means that any emotions which normally we'd just override, something was said and we'd just ignore it, we become hyper defensive. We read into everything in a totally illogical way because our logic is gone. We become reactionary. We can become hysterical. And we damage the people around us. And whereas it's not our fault, it is, my friend, our responsibility. And I'd go as far as to say our duty to stop that. Those people do not deserve it. They certainly don't need it. And it will be affecting them in all kinds of ways in their life. There is nothing worse than having somebody that you love lash out at you, hurt you, dredge up things which there may be an element of truth in, but nobody needs to hear it. And then on the flip side of that, the next day you have all of the guilt because you know, maybe you don't even remember what was said. There may be huge blanks, but there's this black cloud between you and the people you love, and that black cloud is called the aftermath of alcohol. But I'm here to tell you that there is a different world, a whole other world and a whole other place where you can live in sunshine, in absolute harmony with those people in your life. And when you're inside the world and you carry the social secret in your heart, you are in a completely different place. And that is what I want for you. I'm Michaela Weaver, Chief Executive and founder of The Alcohol Coach and creator of The Social Secret. If I can help you, leave a comment. There'll be one around here somewhere you can leave, or get in touch. Okay, take care.